Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. In just about an hour, Spokane City Council is expected to vote on an emergency ordinance that will strengthen enforcement of a citywide camping ban. KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy explains.
About 3 weeks after the idea was first floated, Spokane is now taking action to fix a camping ban it admits wasn't working.
I think that this is going to go down as a legacy piece, I think, potentially for us as a council where there actually was serious collaboration here. And I think that's how you create lasting policy.
A new emergency ordinance called Safe and Accessible Spaces will go beyond the proposal from Mayor Lisa Brown early this month. It will give police officers the ability and discretion to arrest camping violators, something city leaders admitted was missing from a June camping ban.
They could, in theory, still be cited, whether or not they accept services, or the officer could choose not to cite and send them to services.
We're coming up on winter too, so having some really good policy in place to help folks get connected to the resources that they need in the colder months.
But this new standalone ordinance goes even further, making it illegal to obstruct public property like sidewalks, bridges, and viaducts, and also illegal to sit or lie in entrances or exits to businesses or private property.
It also prioritizes removal of camps near schools, parks, and daycare centers, which is sort of an incorporation of some of the Prop 1 language.
The ordinance will also emphasize protecting waterways like the Spokane River and public trees. It increases penalties for littering and reckless burning to misdemeanors.
Probably more important, it removes the provision stating that violators are only going to be cited and released rather than booked. In other words, we're not going to suggest that they're going to go immediately back onto the street.
Council members praised weeks of bipartisan collaboration they say will achieve balance between public safety and helping the unhoused. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
All right, let's talk weather on this Monday. We have finally made it to Halloween week, but there is a spooky forecast ahead for little trick-or-treaters. Yeah, for more on that, let's get right outside to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy the Goo. Jeremy, I know Halloween's still 4 days away, but what are you thinking?
I'm thinking it's dry for trick-or-treaters.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, we'll dive into that here in just a minute, but I got to give you a little behind the scenes on what just happened. Our executive producer, Kami, was in my ear going, "You're up next." And Mark was going, "Get outside." And I was going, "I don't want to. It's 42 degrees and I didn't wear a coat today." That is on me. I take full responsibility for that. We have a couple of showers coming down just south of town. Those showers are putting out a little more cold air. I'm really feeling it here on the South Hill, but you can see that band setting up right there. A couple just off to the north of Deer Park, Tooele in some of that. It is coming down as snow up high, but rain down a little bit lower. Those snow levels are creeping down to about 4,000 feet. The snow moves out. So I think tomorrow morning, if you're driving Lookout Pass or 4th of July Pass, I would say just add a little extra time. You know those curves where you're in the shade and it's just kind of those areas that holds the moisture? We're at that. That is the area that I would say be a little bit concerned about, but not too much. As we move through the next couple of days, no real chance of rain until Wednesday. Wednesday looks to be in the morning, but by Wednesday afternoon, we're back to sunshine and a high near 50 degrees. So it does trend a bit warmer in the next few days. And as I told Mark, the chance of rain holds off until late Halloween night. And I'll walk you through that in the full forecast.
Then, Jeremy, thank you very much. Well, just a few hours before tip-off, a starter on Gonzaga men's basketball team is in front of a Spokane County judge awaiting a decision on his eligibility. This follows injunction hearing, making a motion to move the case to U.S. District Court. However, the motion was deemed inadequate to justify federal court jurisdiction and was sent back to Superior Court. As of this hour, Tyon Grant Foster is still in court for that injunction hearing. We will continue to update this story as information becomes available, and we'll have the very latest for you when court is over today. In other news, a well-known Spokane businessman died in a small plane crash in Montana over the weekend. Tonight, Dan Arada's wife is sharing her heartbreak and how he will be remembered. She spoke exclusively with Chief Journalist Amanda Rowley, who joins us live from the newsroom tonight. Amanda?
Generous and humble. Those are the two words Nadine Arada used to describe her late husband, Dan Arada. Tonight, she and her family are still processing this unexpected loss. Nadine tells me Dan left Spokane late Friday night, eager to meet up with his brothers and a few friends in Montana for a hunting trip. But the plane he was flying crashed before landing. His wife says he's been flying for about 4 years. To Nadine, Dan was the love of her life, and to the Spokane community, he was the friendly owner of Arada's Automax and RV and Arada's Mitsubishi. Nadine says she feels this loss deeply.
Just the hole in my heart that he's left. I mean, you don't realize it when you're living with someone, you know, how important they are until they're gone. And here I am, you know, with him gone, I'm just, wow, half of me is gone. I don't even know how to move forward. I don't know how to navigate this.
Dan and Nadine have a blended family. Nadine says they share 8 children and 5 grandchildren. It's not yet clear what's caused Dan's plane to crash, but the FAA and coroner continue to investigate. In the newsroom, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
The state of Washington is treating wildfires not as a seasonal event, but as a year-round focus. That was the message from Public Lands Commissioner Dave Upthegrove. In all, he said statewide firefighters dealt with more than 1,600 fires this season. 90% of those, he says, were preventable. But Upthegrove warned that recent budget cuts threaten future fire seasons.
This last year, due to tough budget times, the funding we have for wildfire prevention response was cut in half. And if that funding isn't restored, we're going to see more fires, bigger fires, and more cost to taxpayers, more risk to property, to life, more damage to our environment.
The Washington legislature passed sweeping budget cuts earlier this year after Governor Ferguson revealed the state had a multi-billion-dollar deficit. All right, still ahead on KREM 2 News at 5 tonight, we are tracking updates on 2 big court cases. The man accused of blowing a hole in his apartment and catching the building on fire enters a plea to serious charges that he is facing. More on that after the break.